Going on.
Nothing, and we are officially live wrestling with Maverick on ASAP Network. We're here. We're gonna talk about Money in the Bank. Get some Money in the Bank hangover. Um,
Great pay-per-view.
Unfortunately, I didn't watch it live because it was at a weird time and I had to take care of some stuff. I did watch it last night. What I saw of it, amazing stuff. I really enjoyed the change up with Damian Priest winning Money in the Bank. It was kind of
Yeah,
cool.
I was happy.
You know, I kind of figured they were going to go LA Knight.
That's what I was really thinking because they said he was the favorite. Personally, I wanted Priest to win, but with the little tournament you were doing, I really believed that they were going to give it to LA Knight and everything, because Io Sky was actually the one that was favored to win for the women, and she still won.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, wow, they really changed something up, and then Roman taking a loss finally.
Yeah, and it kind of comes full circle because for those of you who are wrestling historians like me, Jay was the first one to beat Roman ever whenever he was in the Shield.
Yep.
And then Jay to pin Roman after 1,000 days. It comes full circle.
Yep.
And I love the callbacks in that match. We had Roman stacking up the Usos like he did at WrestleMania with Daniel Bryan and Edge.
Yep. I remember
We
that.
saw the kick out low blow that Jimmy gave Roman. That was great stuff. The pay-per-view honestly was great. That crowd was electric through
was
the entire
really
show.
Great. John Cena popping up was a complete shock.
I don't think anyone thought that Cena would show up. I mean, with him doing Peacemaker season 2, I mean, he showed up. The crowd was on fire. I love the altercation with him and Grayson Waller. That was really cool. I wonder if we're going to see Grayson on TV more. I wonder if his leg has healed enough.
That's what I'm wondering.
Because for those of you who don't know, Grayson Waller got drafted from NXT, I think, to SmackDown, right?
I believe so.
Okay, to SmackDown. And he's not been on TV because he's been nursing a broken leg because he trained a little bit in a full WWE ring and apparently twisted his knee or something to that effect. But yeah, I mean, all in all, what would be your final grade for Money in the Bank if you could grade it?
Me, I would definitely give it an A because it was very entertaining. There was a lot of surprises that you didn't expect. Like Priest coming out and kind of basically costing Balor the match. My opinion, I was waiting for Priest to come out when Roman got pinned because he could have cashed in right then and there, and there was nothing that could be done, and he could have been world champ. Where Roman would have left with absolutely nothing except Solo in his corner. At Money in the Bank, that would have made that crowd really go ballistic that Roman got cashed in on. He took 2 losses in one night. I think that would have made it even better, honestly.
Honestly, it would have. And I think they're teasing Damian Priest leaving Judgment Day and turning face.
There's been talk of that, but there's also I've been seeing a lot that supposedly they're going to kick Balor out.
Yeah, I've been seeing that too, but after last night, it makes me wonder if it's going to be Priest leaving and getting a face turn, or if it's going to be them kicking out Finn Balor.
I think they're going to actually, Priest is going to leave on his own, and that's where they're going to bring in this new,
J.D. McDonough.
Yes, I couldn't think of his name. I wanted to say Jordan Devlin, because
that's
one that Balor had trained and everything.
Yeah. Well, Jordan Devlin would have been correct because that was his name in NXT UK.
There was one more person they're supposed to be bringing in Judgment Day. I read last night after the pay-per-view went off. Bronson Reed.
Bronson Reed joining Judgment Day.
With it.
Where'd you read that at?
Where did you read that at?
That was on Facebook and Instagram last night while I was gone.
It was on Facebook and Instagram. My husband
I
just.
haven't seen anything about it, but I can double check to make sure if it's
I'm gonna
true or
look
not.
later because I'll be
Oh,
going to work in a little bit anyway. So I'll be bored at work again. So I'm gonna be doing a little research.
I'm going on
Yeah,
Facebook last night. I'm about to go find it.
yeah. Just let me know where you found it, and I'll see. Um, But anyways, I would say all in all, Money in the Bank was a decent pay per view. It was
Yes.
probably one of the better ones that they put on. And now we're on the road to SummerSlam. So what do you think is going to happen now that we're on the road to SummerSlam? What
Yeah.
matches do you think we're going to see?
I honestly think we're gonna end up seeing Roman defend that title to Jay. I did read that Orton is supposedly supposed to come back, but I've heard he's been told by doctors not to wrestle again. But he was supposed to be there last night to supposedly help Riddle and then turn on Riddle, and then he was going to challenge Seth. So I'm not sure. But honestly, I could see Roman having to go against Jay because he's going to be angry. Because I don't know if you've seen the little clip of where Roman
Yeah,
pitched a fit and everything. It
yeah,
was
I
actually
saw.
kind of
Yeah,
amusing. But he's going to want revenge and everything. And I really think it's time for Roman to lose the title. And a friend of mine's been arguing, saying, no, Roman's supposed to have the belt till WrestleMania 41 and all sorts of stuff. But I don't see it happening.
well, according to the original rumor that came out whenever Roman first won the championship, he was supposed to surpass Hogan as far as like longest reign ever. Now Hogan, I believe his first reign was well over 1,000 days. I'm not
Oh,
sure the exact number, but I know it was a while. Uh, so if they're going with that plan still, I wonder if that's still the idea of what's going on and all that stuff. And if that still is the plan, he very well could hold it until WrestleMania 41. And WrestleMania 41, from what I've heard, I believe that's in 2027, right?
yes.
It's
That's,
supposed to be in Nashville, Tennessee. We'll see.
hmm. Yeah, we shall see. Because they're trying to put, that's why Cena was trying to say, bring WrestleMania to London, which I couldn't understand, do something for them a little bit bigger than like Money in the Bank. I
Well,
personally
didn't they
think,
have a didn't they have a SummerSlam there?
Yeah,
yeah, I think
it
in
was one when
early 90s or something, I believe.
it was one when British Bulldog beat Bret Hart for the IC title in front of his hometown.
So
Yeah,
92. 92. Okay.
yeah, I was gonna say I think it was like 92. I personally would love for them to bring WrestleMania back to Chicago because it's been, I think,
13.
since 2006 was the last time they were at the Allstate
Yeah,
Arena
that
for.
was WrestleMania 22. The main event was Triple H and John Cena.
Yep, that's where the fans turned on Cena, and I'll explain a lot of why that happened. Is at that time, all the Popeyes like in the surrounding areas throughout Chicago, especially some close to like where I grew up, because I grew up an hour northwest of Chicago, and almost at the Illinois-Wisconsin border. And basically, they were having like certain wrestlers go to Popeyes where you can do a meet and greet for a couple of hours. And Cena was steadily showing up late. And mind you, the hours were like 5 to 8 or 6 to 8. Cena was showing up late and leaving early. He was not doing what he should have done when he was the top person at the time for the fans. Now, at that time was when Triple H, I believe, had just released an book. That man, I had read, he stayed on one of his book signings until everybody that was in that line got an autograph and was able to get questions asked, pictures, whatever
Yeah,
they wanted.
John Cena's the same way here. Whenever we had I think it was the next pay per view was Backlash '06, um, and we had that here at Rep Arena. Like he would be in his tour bus and would not come out.
That's it. Because I remember I took him to this, I think it was called the GameWorks place in Schaumburg, Illinois, which was like about 20 minutes from the Allstate Arena. And my son at the time, he was only, almost 2 years old, and he loved Cena. I stood in line for 2.5 hours waiting to see if we could get in, but it was basically impossible because the line was already a mile long. Cena showed up, I remember, 20 minutes late, and he said something that he's only taken so many people, and they turned everybody away. They cut everybody off after he said, I'm only taking so many people. They counted him up, and they said, okay, you guys go because he's not going to take y'all.
That's
I was
messed
like,
up.
that's ridiculous.
Because
I'm like, come on.
I know when they did a meet and greet here with Cena, I think it was at Kroger. Like he was there for like half the time and would leave.
That's where the fans turned on him because you're supposed to be the top man, and the kids all love you, but yet you're not fulfilling what you're supposed to be doing to make your fans stay with you. Triple H did that.
Yeah. And honestly, if WrestleMania were to go to London, what time would they air it?
It would probably be, I'm thinking it would probably start around 9, 10 o'clock in the morning because I believe London is 6 hours ahead of us, from me at least.
Well, yeah, because yesterday the show started at what, 1?
Yeah, 1 o'clock. No, it started at
2.
2 o'clock my time, so it would have been 3 o'clock your time. It started.
Yeah. It was just weird. I mean, that's why I hate overseas pay-per-views because you can
The,
never judge the time properly.
exactly, it's a big time difference, and I'm 99% sure London is right now. My time is 2:12, so I'm positive it's 8:12 over there.
Yeah. And like I I
And
heard that SmackDown was taped. So,
yes, it was taped.
um because I'm assuming what happened is they flew from Georgia, where they were at for Raw, over to London, and
Yep.
I'm assuming they taped SmackDown on Tuesday and aired it on Friday.
Yeah, because I did see something. I didn't get to see SmackDown because I had to work till 7, and then by the time I got out of there and I got back to my mother in law's house, it was like 8:30. So SmackDown was pretty much over with, and I seen something earlier in the day that SmackDown was gonna have a delayed time. So I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. That's the reason why I don't do watch alongs with overseas pay-per-views. Sorry, it's dumb.
It's that time difference that screws everything up.
Put it like this: by the time we got in the house and I cut the TV on and cut on SmackDown, it was the last match, and that was when Roman and Solo was going at it against the Usos when they had that big ass brawl.
Oh yeah, so it was the final segment. All right, but yeah, all in all, I think Money in the Bank did really good. What's been going on with AEW? You keep up more with that more than I do.
I'll let Mike speak on that one because I work a lot.
Well. Last week it's official. Bullet Club Gold is no longer 2 members. Bullet Club Gold is now 4 members. Jay White, Juice Robinson, the Gun Club, which at first I wasn't liking it, but I'm like, it does make sense because think about it. Bullet Club Gold, Bang Bang Gang, and they're called the Gun Club, so that was cool. I can live with that. They they're doing a feud between MJF and Adam Cole, and I'm sorry, I can name 50 people between Impact, AEW, and WWE that is all better than MJF. And I ain't talking about this I ain't talking about the mic. As far as in the ring, he ain't shit. I've been watching him since his MLW days. MJF is not what he think. He is not the man like he think he is. What else? At Forbidden Door last week, Omega lost to Will Ospreay for the U.S. title. Brian Danielson broke his arm against Okada, which he shouldn't.
He wrestled for over 10 minutes with it broke.
He shouldn't have beat Okada. I don't give a damn what nobody says. Because okay, maybe you'll agree with this. As far as like this New Japan AEW thing they've been doing the last 2 years now, and as far as like some people just now watching New Japan, my opinion is Okada, Tanahashi, and I want to say Naito if I was going to say if I was going to do say if they're guys like WWE guys, they would be the John Cena, Edge, and Orton of that company.
Oh, definitely. I wholeheartedly agree with that.
As far as Forbidden Door goes, my cousin didn't like a lot of it because his boy is Kenny Omega.
He's the wrestling god.
So I was happy about that. As far as everything else that happened, I liked it. I was cool with everything. And speaking of AEW, I just got the game the other day. Finally.
Oh, is it good? Is it good? I've heard mixed reviews about it.
Is it better than 2K23? No. But if I had to compare it to a game like back in the day, I'm not go. I'm going 64, Nintendo 64. I'm not saying No Mercy. I'm not even saying WrestleMania 2000. To me, AEW Fight Forever reminds me of WCW NWO Revenge. Best I can tell you.
I can see that. I can also see a little bit of ECW thrown in there.
Different about it.
Like, okay, these are two differences that WWE definitely don't do. One thing they definitely don't do is they don't let the guys fight the girls at all. I mean, a girl can hit a guy.
Well, if you look at the early SmackDown games, they did early SmackDown games.
Like a female, like I said, of course in WWE games, the female, a wrestler or manager, they can hit a male wrestler. It's just the male wrestlers can't touch the females. And I'll give you an example of what I mean by they can touch the females. So we all know in AEW how they have that casino battle royale, right?
Yeah.
Well, one difference is between their battle royale and the Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble, you can either do men or women in WWE games. The casino battle royal has men and women in that battle royal.
That's different.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen like little videos on TikTok about it. Like you can throw kerosene bombs at people and all kinds of weird stuff.
Two matches that are new to a wrestling game. The death match, they put that in the game. And then the match when they had the match they just had at not Forbidden Door, but the pay-per-view Double or Nothing. The arena where you fight in the arena.
Anarchy in the arena or Stadium Stampede.
I think it's Stadium. It's one of those damn matches, but that's in the game. And then let's just say you choose to pick Adam Cole.
Mm-hmm.
You can let Adam Cole win every belt in the game, including the women's. Now that's something WrestleMania 2000 used to do.
And No Mercy.
Yeah,
No Mercy did it. No Mercy did it too. Like
I took
with No Mercy. This is just from me playing it. I took S.A. Rios and made him light heavyweight champion, tag team champion, intercontinental champion, and world champion all in the span of 4 days.
Hell, like when I used to play No Mercy, what I used to do was, and I even did it in WrestleMania 2000 and Revenge. For example, we all know in Revenge they didn't have X-Pac.
Yeah.
So what I do? I forgot who I turned them into. It was either Juventud Guerrero or I turned Billy Kidman into X-Pac.
Right.
Now when it comes to making doing characters on No Mercy, guys who I knew I wasn't gonna do anything with, anything at all, I just made somebody over them.
Right.
I
mean that's what I did.
Don't get me wrong. I played when I got, like I said, when I got in the house, we got back to the room Thursday, and I got the game on. It didn't even take long to download it to my game system. But I started playing the two title matches I did was Adam Cole, MJF. So in my game, Adam Cole's my world champion. And then my other title match was a 3-way between Ruby, Statlander, and Jay Cargill for the TBS title. At first, Ruby walked out with it in that 3-way match, and then I did a 1-on-1. Then I let Statlander win it. Just
now, does Statlander in your game hold the actual women's title or the TBS women's title?
TBS.
Okay.
Because basically what I do with the wrestling games, like when I'm playing my 23 2K, of course, like with my roster that BCW they have in the game, that's my company. I do what I want with it. For the most part, when it comes to like NXT and WWE, for the most part, like when I get a game, I'll do what they're doing on TV for a little while, and then I'll just switch it up. Like, okay, you remember when they had the Raw tag titles and the SmackDown tag titles?
Yeah,
Not the way they look now, but the way they used to look.
yeah, the old giant penny ones, or the ones from '04.
The ones from '04 when they first started doing this
Oh
brand
yeah,
split.
those. Yeah,
Those are I use those for my tags. Okay, when it comes to my WWE part of the roster, I'm using every belt they have in the game. I'm using the light heavyweight, the cruiser, European. I'm using the Raw tag titles. The one from '04. Those are my Raw titles, and then the ones like the big old, the old WWF tag titles. They pretty much turned to the SmackDown. Those are my SmackDown titles.
right.
I'm using the US. I use the IC. I use the women's. Now, see the problem. I was supposed to do it this weekend when I was at my mother's house, but I didn't. So basically, what I do is the new belt that Roman has, and you know
Yeah,
how Roman has a new belt, Oscar has a new belt, Rollins and Ripley got a new belt. For Roman, I'm not putting that belt back in my game. That belt's
right.
into my game. Wait, you got the red universal, the blue universal, the women's, and the men's. How many times we got to see this belt? So I gave Roman a whole different world title. I did give Rollins the world title he has now. I'm switching both women's titles because I'm sorry, me and a lot of like me and some of my brothers, we all have the same opinion. Those belts are ugly.
I
If they
will
just had,
say, I will say one thing though. I do like the new World Heavyweight Championship. It's a modern take on an old title. I do like that. Now, the Roman belt, I hate it.
I hate all the belts like Romans. I hate. I don't like.
Like,
And the crazy thing is, I have the universal one, the red one. But like I said, you got the red universal, the blue universal, the WWE, the Raw women's, and the Raw. Why do you gotta have five belts that are the exact same? Speaking of that, why is Roman Reigns still walking around with these three titles? That's stupid.
again, going back to what I said, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago on the podcast, the belt that Roman was I think the belt that he was given, the one that has the gold backing to it, is going to be the belt that they have moving forward with the WWE Championship. Because once Roman loses that title, the Universal Championship goes away entirely.
I that that I get, I understand, but if you already have a new version of the Universal title, why are you still walking around with the blue Universal title, and why are you still walking around with the WWE title? I
I
mean,
don't
like,
know.
why do we gotta see you walk around with pretty much the same belt, three different colors? That's stupid. Because the belt he has
I'm not.
now, the belt he just got, and the actual not the Universal, but the actual WWE belt, it's the exact same fucking belt. All it is a gold back, and it says undisputed Universal. So why you gotta walk around with three titles, three of the same titles? Because like I said, okay, like right now, like when it comes to like me playing my game, I have like we all know AEW. They have two female titles. They have the women's and they have a secondary title. Well, that's pretty much what I did in my WWE roster. I gave the women a secondary belt. It's called the Liberty Championship. Hey, it looks different, new design. I can live with it. But like some of the belts like that I use, hell, I even have a hardcore title in my game, and I'm not. No, I'm not using an old broke ass hardcore title that we all know they had. I brought in a whole new hardcore title because like now,
Oh,
like I said,
you downloaded a new championship.
I did. I've got a new hardcore title. I've got a pure title. I've got a hair. Well, I had a heritage title, but I put the heritage title in NXT because basically, like, because like my brother always asks me, like on the times I'm doing my rosters on my game, he like when it comes to like doing championship belts or whatnot, he like, well, how do you do it? I'm like, for every division I have in my game for my roster, there's a title. I have a hardcore,
Yeah.
a pure, IC, US, European, tag, light, cruiser, world, and WWE title.
Kind of like it was in the 90s.
Basically. But
I get
like
it.
because like right now, like I said, I'm talking about the game for a second. And like right now, like I said when you were asking about AEW, I'm kind of conflicted because I have my own version of DX in the game, not the original DX. Basically like any old group, I'm trying to do like a younger or a new version of it.
Right.
Like with my Horseman group, when most people when they say the Horseman, we all know they're gonna think of one of them old versions of the group. No,
Yeah.
my group goes Pillman's son, Arn's son, Benoit's son, and just because I didn't at the time I didn't know what to do with them, so I just put them in the group. I threw in Alexander, I threw in Hammerstone from MLW. That's my version of the Horseman.
Honestly, that would not be a bad Horseman group if they were to actually make that happen. Because think about it.
My version
You
of the
have
Right. My version of Samoan
you
SWAT team goes.
yeah, like think about it. You have Brian Pillman Jr., you have David Benoit, you have, Arn's son, and then you
Brock.
throw in Hammerstone as the muscle. That'd be a great four horseman group.
Yeah. Now, like my Samoan SWAT team, we all know that group's in the MLW, and I only got two members from the MLW in that group, Lance and Jacob. My other two members
Mm.
are my favorite female wrestler, Nia Jax, and this guy you haven't heard about him in a long time. He was in TNA, Sonny Siaki.
Whatever happened to Sonny Siaki?
I mean,
I heard
he
differing
pops
stories.
up
I heard that he like gave up his kidney for his brother or something. I don't know.
now, like for example, like my DX group. Sean's cousin, Michael Sane, who was in Impact or who was in TNA.
Matt
Do you
Bennett,
remember Matt Capitelli? Do you remember Matt Capitelli from OVW?
the one that got
The one
beat,
who
the
brought
one that got beat down by Hardcore Holly.
no, the one who yeah, him yeah. I got him, Shawn Michaels' cousin Michael Sane, James Storm, and the Guns is my version of DX. But now do you see why I'm conflicted? Because now let's get to my Bullet Club Gold. My Bullet Club Gold consists of Jay, Juice, Chris Bay, Ace Austin, and El Fantasmo. So, but you see how it's kind of I'm conflicted
Yeah,
with that because it's like
but here's a way you can fix that. Can you form a super faction in AEW? Like have two factions come together?
I haven't even. I was supposed to work on my game once I got to my mother's house this weekend. For the internet and all that. Because
Well,
I guess that they have.
if you can do a super faction, I would combine your DX faction with the Bullet Club Go faction, and there you go.
Now, if I do, once I see, once I get all the characters, no, so once they drop all the characters for the game, and once I start doing creative characters, if I'm gonna do a group like that, it's gonna be Bullet Club Gold and Undisputed Era.
I can see it. But anyways, going back to stuff with the podcast, I know Holly and Jonathan won the predictions challenge to challenge me for my championship at SummerSlam.
Yes.
You
I
got
was,
lucky. You got lucky, and you know it.
you know, would have been bad if I would have went with who I wanted to take. I wanted to take Priest, but I was like, okay, they're gonna give it to Knight because he's so over. I would have won it by myself, basically. But I'm
Yeah, you
good.
would have, and you would have had the briefcase to cash in anytime you wanted. But where Knight didn't win, And no one picked Priest at all.
I was going to, but I was like, you know, I'm like, they're gonna give it tonight because he's so over, stuff like that. Because I was seeing they did a house show earlier this week. It was a triple threat I read. Austin Theory versus AJ and LA Knight. And they said Knight didn't even take the loss. It was AJ that took the pin.
Right. So now you and Jonathan are advancing on to SummerSlam to face me for my predictions championship. The
I'm coming
championship that I've
for it.
held for over 1,000 days.
Yep, I'm
That's what
taking
you're
it.
coming for. That's what you're coming for. You're coming for
Yes,
my
it is.
championship that I've held for over 1,000 days.
Yep, and I'm taking it.
You know something? You might get lucky and pull it out. You might, just might. But you gotta think we have Jonathan in there too, and also if you want to enter into this predictions challenge for SummerSlam, just send me your predictions. I welcome all challengers. It doesn't matter who it is. It could be man, woman, child, tree. I don't care. And now, if a tree begins to talk and does predictions, we're going to get some money for that.
I am
Just,
Groot.
just.
I am Groot.
Honestly, even if your husband wanted to enter, he could. I don't care. It's just it's just predicting who you think is going to walk out of SummerSlam with the win. Now, if it's a singles match, not for a championship, that's going to count for 1 point. If it's a championship match, it'll be 2 points. Pretty simple. So let's say we get Roman versus Jay for the unit for the WWE whatever belt they want to call it this week. That'll be 2 points for whoever
one
wins that.
one match that I know they're going to end up doing: Ronda versus Baszler. What caused Baszler to just
They
turn on
they
that?
may pull the trigger on that one for SummerSlam. Then again, they might save it for Survivor Series.
Possible. They might build up that
The
feud.
reason they did that match, the reason they did that yesterday, the same reason why I think at this point, okay, this is the best way I can think of it. They did that for one reason, the same reason why I seen an interview yesterday with the Usos, and they said eventually, before they leave wrestling and leave WWE, they eventually want to have a one-on-one.
Oh
Now,
yeah, I saw that same interview.
now we all know it. When it comes to actual this, we all know it's not. We all know what we watch every weekend on pay-per-views. We all know it's not real, for the most part. But when it comes to the fakeness of it, when you look at Rousey and look at Baszler, first off, Baszler, she a dog. Ronda, she ain't on that level yet. They only put her on that level because of her name and what she did in UFC. Now, yes, Rousey is a better UFC fighter than Baszler. Now, as far as the shit we watch every week, Ronda can't whoop her. Ronda, I don't think if they have this match, I don't really see Ronda beating Baszler because I'll be honest, she's been doing this now 2 years, almost 3, and she ain't really got no better. She really ain't got better at all.
Something like that, yeah. Well, Ronda, I don't think really wants to be in wrestling. I think she's just doing it for the money.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, she's making more money right now than she ever made in UFC.
Yep.
Because,
but
like,
going back, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Like I said, there's times like I said, I watch all these companies, and it's like half the ones. Like there's a lot of guys in WWE, there's a lot of guys and girls in WWE. There's only a few guys and girls in AEW, and it's like, come on now, y'all can do better than that. Yeah. I'm sorry.
So going back to, I'm sorry, Mike. Go ahead. You were saying?
No, go ahead.
Going back to the SummerSlam watch party that is coming up on August the 5th, I'm working on something kind of big, at least locally here in Lexington. I'm trying to possibly do a pretty big event at a local movie theater. We'll see what happens. And I might be able to pull off something that Holly has asked me about numerous times.
I know what that is.
I'm sure she does too. She thinks really hard about it.
My Baron Corbin.
I'm trying to see if I can get it together, but we'll see what happens.
I'm glad you brought.
I swear, man, you get him on there, I will have a heart attack because he's got the potential. He can do it. It's just they don't want to give him that push.
Put like this.
It just depends on what his availability is for that, and if he's even going to be at SummerSlam. So that's pretty much what I'm waiting on.
Right.
If you put Baron Corbin in any other company, AEW, Impact, MLW, New Japan, or even NWA, he can win one of those world titles. Period.
Oh yeah, definitely. But and coming up in October, I've already confirmed this. I'm going to be doing a full-on company review of WCW from the beginning all the way to the end, and I may have a former WCW talent joining me for that. So let's see what happens.
That's definitely what I want to talk about.
So I'm working on that. Also in August, we are doing the ECW month. Don't forget that. It's going to be, we're going to talk all things ECW, and I'm going to try to conclude it with a ECW roundtable at the end. So, yeah.
Now, are you still coming up to Chicago in October for Bound for Glory?
For Bound for Glory, I will know more about that probably tomorrow, and I will let you know.
That would be awesome because, like I said, from where the stadium is basically at, it's in Cicero, like just on the outside of Chicago. That's not but maybe a 45-minute drive from where I stay, and if I happen to be at my mother-in-law's, that's like a 20-minute drive.
But yeah, I will know more tomorrow, and I will let you know. Okay.
All right.
But as of right now, I am concluding this submission of Wrestling with Maverick because I have some stuff I have to go work on for my movie that I'm working on. So yeah.
Yep, I gotta get ready and go to my other job here in an hour. Yay.
So for Holly, thank you, Mike, for being on as well. Thank you, everyone, for being in the comments. I'm sure we had like a bunch of them, and we did. I did not see these comments. Sorry, people.
I didn't see no comments pop up either.
I'm sorry. It was my fault.
Hey, Mike. If you can, around Bound for Glory time, see if you can try to get the Rascals on there.
Well, if everything goes the way that I'm being told is supposed to go for Bound for Glory, we will be doing a live podcast from there, and also something to the effect of interviewing talent after their matches. That's what I've been told. I don't know how true that is.
That would be great because we're planning on going.
Like I said, I will know more about that probably tomorrow, and I will let everyone know either on the Wrestling with Maverick Facebook page, or I will personally message Holly, and then she can put it out there. Awesome. I want to apologize to everyone in the comments. I apologize humbly. I did not see these comments till just now. We have Jay and Roman at SummerSlam. You're right. That probably will happen. Also, Drew and Gunther. That would be an interesting match, too, for SummerSlam. Yeah. And have it be for the Intercontinental Championship. Asuka, Belair, and Flair. I could kind of see a triple threat maybe at SummerSlam happening with that.
Yep, I was saying that the last time.
So we shall see what happens. And Tony said that Priest will be turning face, according to him, pretty soon. And for everyone in the comments, again, I apologize. I did not see them until just now. But you all can also enter into the predictions challenge for yes, that's right, my predictions championship. Not Holly's, not Jonathan's, nobody else's, mine.
Soon to be
Over
Holly.
1,000 days.
Soon to be Holly. Sorry, Mike. I'm sorry, Jonathan.
Okay, over 1,000 days. You got. I'm just saying.
Y'all
4
better hope I
months.
don't get. Y'all better hope I don't get in there and come take some titles.
Just saying. 4 months. 4 months. Okay. 4 months. I have been the guy. I have been the standard for 4 months. And I'm not losing it to anybody. Okay.
Only because I ain't came in yet. Only because I ain't got there yet. But when I get there, as me and my cousin always say on the wrestling game, when there's a title on the line, I walk in challenger, I walk out champion.
Well, you know, it's like I always say, I arrive, I make history, I leave. That's what I do. So
I like that. That was a good one. That was a good one. I might have to use that when I'm playing the game now.
So thank you all for being in the chats. Thank you, Holly, for being on. Thank you, Mike, for being on. And we will be back on Sunday, next Sunday at 3 p.m. for another Sunday Fun Day. Later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
What the fuck is a super show?